Sinisterism is about finding the primal aspects of the left-hand path, primal in history, primal in the psyche, thus obtaining truth. Thomas Leroy.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome back to your dose of sinister heathenry. But for those new to the channel, I'm Thomas Leroy, founder of the International Left-Hand Path organization, the Sect of the Horn God. The sect is an educational foundation created to not only make those with a black flame aware of its glow, but to also restore the shadow aspects to the ancient gods by going deep into the past, not only historically, but also psychologically. For the primal depths of the psyche are limitless. So, if this sounds interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to learn more, join the organization, the Sect of the Horn God, at the link down below. Thank you. More than once I've been asked, how do I get in touch with the primal spirits, the dark gods? Now, for the longest time, I've been guilty of telling my viewers that they must connect with the primal, that the primal is the source, and that they want to go back into the, deep down into the subconscious, and that they need to go back into history. But I've never told them how to. That is, until today. Now, the following meditative ritual to connect with the primal will be different for everyone, as it should be, because you'll be encountering the gods of your heritage to find that God, that one that resonates with you the best. That God that speaks the loudest to you personally. And it could be that you'll have to do this ritual multiple times because it may not be the same deity that heeds your call every time you do it. Depending on your mood or interest at the time, it could change. You'll have to divorce yourself from those influences as much as possible to get a clearer perspective. You'll have to psychically wipe the slate clean, if you will. Now, understand that this isn't a racial thing, so don't get your panties in a twist. It's a cultural thing, because within every, quote, race are many different ancient cultures. Europeans or white people aren't a single united culture, because Celtic culture is different from Germanic, which is different from Slavic, and so on. And the Native Americans aren't united into a single culture by any stretch of the imagination, nor are the Asians or Africans for that matter. So what you'll be doing is awakening genetic memories from within specific cultures, the cultures that make up your heritage. So how do we do this? Well, if you're of a single heritage, find 4 gods, hopefully dark gods, or entities from within that culture. This might be tough in some cases, but it would be a great way or excuse of obtaining knowledge you may find revelatory. For example, let's say you're Russian, find 4 Slavic gods, or if you're Japanese or Nigerian or whatever, do your research. What you'll be doing is unlocking your genetic memory. But first, and this is important, is you'll have to break free from modernity and the Christian influence. I already have, you may claim. I'm a Satanist or Luciferian or whatever. And if you are, great, more power to you. Continue to utilize these entities as guides, for they are the adversarial aspect within the Christian current. And the Christian current permeates Western civilization. Because of this, though, when you go calling upon the gods of your ancestors, the Christ might just come forward. Come on, I think we all know someone who was once a Satanist and is now back in the arms of Jesus. What I'm getting at is, you need to go deeper down into your psyche, into your genetic makeup, to something more personal, a more personal deity, predating the Christian cultural influence. We of the 21st century are myopic, narrow-minded. We're guilty of presentism. That's where one views the past through the lens of modernity and thus through the values of today. Liberalism, empiricism, rationalism, we forget that these ways of thinking are fairly new, and this thing called Western civilization, Western culture, is simply a blip in history that will not last. And we will someday revert back to the default position. For hundreds of thousands of years, we've had a direct connection with our ancestors through ancestor worship. Their voices could be heard, and those voices mattered. But they don't anymore. We become these blank, superficial creatures who sleepwalk through existence. There's still a way, though, to hear those voices, unlock our genetic memories. And that key is myth. Mythology isn't just some old stories or something you can make up, pull out of your ass. These are the documented dreams and nightmares of different cultures that have seeped up from the collective unconscious. Songs from a psychic current whose lyrics have greater depth than anything the contemporary mind can create. Now, here in the States, we tend to be of mixed ethnicities. And because of this, we can create a meditative ritual with gods of different cultures, those cultures that correspond with one's genetic heritage. I, for example, have about a dozen different ethnicities, but my father was mostly of Celtic and Anglo-Saxon heritage, my mother Slavic and Mesoamerican. So I've chosen to call upon gods from those four cultures for my personal ritual. Four gods that correspond with the four cardinal directions. Standing before my altar situated on the west wall, I light candles, and then I take up a bell, striking it 9 times, cleansing the space around me. After this, I sit and get comfortable, still facing the altar, my back straight. I close my eyes, doing deep breathing exercises in through the nose and out through the mouth. This is called alkaline breathing, and I do 15 slow breaths. Next, I do power breathing, in through the mouth and out through the mouth, doing 15 quick breaths. Now, this next step is the most important, because if you truly want to tap into the primal, the first direction is not north, south, east, or west. It is down into the abyss, and the entity you must call upon, no matter your ethnicity, is Leviathan. I call upon Leviathan. I now begin my journey into the abyss to communicate with the ancients, for the abyss is a place of trial, purification, and profound transformation. and Leviathan lurks in its depths. Leviathan's existence before the world's creation symbolizes the primordial power that existed before divine order was established. I see the great beast in my mind's eye. I see it turn in the abysmal waters and submerge. I take a deep breath and follow it down. I hold my breath for 60 seconds. When I go back to normal breathing, still seated, I bring my head up, eyes open, facing west. Now, you'll have your 4 personal gods situated at the 4 cardinal points, ready to be called upon. And as you do, you'll turn to your left counterclockwise. The following, though, is personal to me and is an example of how you can customize your meditative ritual to find your primordial god. I begin in the west, Celtic, Cernunnos. I call upon Cernunnos. I take a deep breath and let it out. I picture the beast, see the man beast, that is Cernunnos. Side note, even though the neo-pagans might argue with this fact, we don't know much about Cernunnos. We do know, though, about the horn god archetype, which represents the beast within man, the power of the unconscious, and the balance between the untamed and the civilized within the psyche. When I see the image of the man-beast drift away in my mind's eye, still seated, I turn to my left, looking south to Mesoamerican, Iitoi. I call upon Iitoi. I take a deep breath and let it out. I picture the symbol that is called the man in the maze. This symbol is said to represent a person's journey through life. It's Iitoi's symbol, the path he follows, in truth a universal pattern that represents the many choices one makes in life. Iitoi is the Oorom chthonic deity. He is a creator god who emerged from the swirling edges of the earth that brush against the sky. It is said that he fought against adversaries for supremacy of the earth, and after winning that epic battle, Iitoi retired to a cave sacred to the Oorom. When I am done meditating upon the man in the maze, I turn toward the east to the Slavic, Valis. I call upon Valis. I take a deep breath and let it out. Once again, I picture an anthropomorphic horn god. In Slavic mythology, Veles is the opponent of the supreme sky father, Perun. He is associated with the harvest, magic, and esoteric knowledge. He is also the keeper of the passageway between the middle world and the higher world of spirit. When I am through meditating upon this image, I turn to the north. North to the Anglo-Saxon, Wotan or Woden or Odin. I call upon Odin. I take a deep breath and let it out. I picture in my mind's eye the All-Father, the dark god who became the greatest of all Western left-hand path deities. His willingness to obtain clandestine knowledge by any means possible, sacrificing himself to himself, is the perfect metaphor for what we do or should be doing on this path, and that is going to extremes to obtain esoteric knowledge. And when I am through meditating on the image of Odin, I ring the bell for the last time. Now, when you return from this journey into the realm of the gods, whatever or whoever those 4 gods are, ask yourself, which connected with you on the highest level? Which voice spoke the loudest? Because one will. Guaranteed one will. And the last time I did this ritual, for some strange reason, it was Iitoi. But after thinking about it, it made some sense. For there's the geographic proximity, because from where I live, it takes roughly a day to drive to the Sonoran Desert and to the mountain where it is said Iitoi resides, where there's no fucking way I'm driving to the British Isles or to Poland. But there's a more obvious close connection, and that is time. My Tohono O'odham ancestors were communicating with Iitoi less than 400 years ago, where my Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, and Slavic heritage, you have to go back roughly 1,000 to 1,500 years. Now, I will in no way claim to have some deep connection with my native heritage, because I don't. And I'm not becoming one of those white shamans, you know what I mean? Those white people shamans. I hate those assholes. It's just that I found it interesting that the one I have the least cultural connection with came to me like that. In conclusion, my friends, give it a try and make sure to customize the ritual to fit your needs besides just your heritage. And make sure to listen for which God speaks the loudest, for that will be the one you'll work with, the God you will invoke in times of trial and tribulation, the one who you'll call upon for aid on your path. Until next time.